Hi, we just finished meeting for our first pronunciation practice on Tuesday of 2022. Yeah, 2022. I've said it so much in so many different ways in the past few days that now I'm forgetting how do I usually say that word. And we'll practice different options for that down here. Actually, starting on row 20. I didn't notice that till now. All right, starting with literally. The T changes to a D, literally. And when we say cafe, the stress is on the second syllable, cafe. And latte, we put the stress on the first syllable. So cafe, latte. Absolutely. You don't release that T, your tongue goes to the T position, absolute. And it's the same as the L position, so you just hold it there, absolutely. Absolutely. Alternative. We can't change this T because it's in the stressed syllable. Alternative. But we can change the second T to a D. Alternative. Alternative high school. Academy. Academy. Disable. And the next one, disable. You really can't hear a difference because I'm not releasing the D if it's by itself. Disabled. The L and the D are in the same place, so you just hold your tongue in the D position and don't release the air. Disabled, but you'll hear the D if it connects to a word with a vowel after it. Disabled alien. Disabled alien. Wherever. Wherever. Remember, if you have a VW difficulty, make sure you round your lips a lot at the beginning so that you can't make a V. Wherever. Miserably is the long way and totally correct. Miserably. But you can also make it shorter and still correct. Miserably. Or move the R, miserably. So you have options. These two words are spelled differently, but they sound exactly the same. We don't pronounce the L in this spelling. It sounds the same as this spelling. Stock with the vowel ah. Stock, stalker, stalker. Exactly the same, but different meanings. And these are similar. Pressure and pleasure. So the first one, PR, and the voiceless sh, pressure. And this one, you can start with your tongue in the L position before you make the P so that you have it all ready to go. Pleasure. And it's the sh with voicing. J, pleasure. My pleasure. It's the j symbol in IPA. Dreary. I'm going to take tradition off because it doesn't mean tradition. It was a word to, because it's an adjective, a word to describe. So I'm going to put, what a dreary day. Means sad and not very hopeful. Dreary. Crochet. Stress on the second syllable, crochet. And this word spelled the same. It means the same thing. It's a sweet food, but it can be pronounced two totally different ways. So you can say two syllables, caramel. So it sounds the same as car. Maybe I could have spelled it that way, but I want you to think of caramel. Or it can be caramel. Totally different, but you'll hear people say both of them. I honestly think 18, just two syllables, is more common, caramel. Maybe it depends on what part of the country you live in. Now we're at row 20. So there's 4 different ways to pronounce 20. It can be with a T. I was confused by this N. 20 with the vowel E as in head and yes. And this vowel E, your jaw is rather high and your tongue is in the middle. 20. Or you can get rid of that T and just keep the N, 20. 20, 20. Or you can change the vowel to as in up, and have the T, 20. Or get rid of the T and keep the N, 20, 20, 20. And I'll put here's, this example is, he doesn't pronounce the T's, 20. So this is a video here on euglish that is an example of somebody, and slow down the speed so you can hear that he's not pronouncing the T's, 20, 22. And then the one before it, this narrator is pronouncing the T's. I'll put it up here. Okay. Oh, and it does sound like 2022 also, or 2022, like part 2. Let's hope not. Okay. Courteous, courteous, and curious. Sounds similar, but you're starting curious with your tongue very high in a Y position because you're getting ready to say cure, year, curious. And this one, cur. I don't have to have my tongue super high in the middle, only in the back for the K, cur. But 25, I start with my tongue in the high in the middle and the back, cure, curious. I'm curious how you pronounce courteous. This one is employees, personnel, and the stress is on the last syllable, personnel. This one is the adjective, could be possessive like personal belongings, or that's private, personal, personal. 1, 2, 3, personal. This you can hear people say different ways. One, cure, the same as curious, or cure, with it more of it, well, not a cure exactly, but cure, cure, ooh, with an ooh, cure. This isn't the way I say it, so I'm thinking, how do people say it that way? I say cure all the time. For every situation that it could be cure or cure, I say cure. Curative. This one, curative. Take your pick. This one, you can say perfectly documentary, but you can also drop that T and say documentary. And yes, I do hear it is possible to say documentary, but it is more American style, I think, to drop the T and say documentary. This one, you also have options. Trauma, as in hot, just single sound, trauma, which sounds the same as drama, but spelled differently. However, you could also say, this was a possibility in the dictionary that I wasn't aware of, trauma. Yeah, trauma. So take your pick. But if you make it the adjective form, the stress moves, and now the first syllable is tra. It's going to change to schwa. Traumatic. Same for dramatic. Traumatic, dramatic. And make sure for the TR and the DR, you're pressing your tongue against the roof of your mouth with a lot of pressure, enough pressure to hold in the air behind it. So when you drag it against the top of your mouth, air escapes over the tongue and makes that j noise. Ch has no voicing, so it will sound like ch, like chair, and that's good. If your TR ch sounds like CH ch, that's good. That means you're pushing with enough pressure that the air is escaping with friction and making that noise. If not, if you don't have enough pressure, it will sound like maybe touching more than once, trauma, 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 and sounds different. So press with a lot of pressure. This one, you have options for 3 syllables, veteran, or 2 syllables, veteran. You could also keep the T, veteran, but that's super correct, and I don't hear that very often. But I do hear the 3 syllable veteran and the 2 syllable with the T, veteran. I shared the euglish, which has examples of people saying 2020 and 2020. Slow down the speed to about 0.7, and that really helps hear the small differences. And I will also put a link to my newsletter where I had, I'll put it here. written and also a video of me demonstrating the different pronunciations of 2022. I think that's it. If you were here, it was so good to see so many familiar faces and also new faces. So if this was your first time, thank you. I'm really glad to meet you and I hope to see you again. And for everybody, if you couldn't join us today, I hope you can next Tuesday or next Monday for pronunciation. And there's always Wednesdays for intonation. Thanks. Have a good day at the beginning of 2022.